So it was in the year of 1867 when the Industrial Revolution was just getting started in the central London. A man named Stephen lived there in a very small village where used to be a lot of population and very small area. These whole peoples were laborers. They were working in very small factories which were becoming the kind of the reason for the central London getting started industrial revolution. So it was the night at around 10 o'clock and the wind was pouring very harsh. Weather condition was just too poor and a man named Stephen around 40 was going towards his home. He was waiting for someone at the pavement of central London. Then the bell rings and the whole people's, all women's, children's and men's start catering towards their home. The light of these factories starting getting fade. That is the completion of the shift of all these poor peoples and they were catering towards their home. There was a flock of women come and Stephen looked at it. He seems like a little disappointed. That whole group of women passed him quickly. Then again one more group of women came and passed. These all women were wearing a shawl as an obstruction from the harsh wind blowing in the winter season of Central Europe. So he started walking with a disappointment on his face and told to himself like, why the hell I am thinking about her. While he started walking, he must have walked somewhere around 3 streets. Then he saw a figure. It was just a kind of reflection of the wet surface of the pavement. There was a woman with a lamp in his hand. He quickly increased his pace and go towards that woman. When he was near her, he started to walk at the natural pace. He started walking. Then he said, "Is it you, Sophie?" The woman looked backward. With the lamp as at his hand, when she looked back, her round oval face, and eradicating eyes, she looked at him, having beautiful black hairs, very long hairs. She looked at him with a little smile. Yes, it's me. So he come close to her and start walking with her. You are late today, he asked. She said yes. Like coming from the factories, it is very uncertain from me like at what exact point I am going to come. Might be sometimes I am early, sometimes I am late. So today, yes, I am late. Why were you waiting for me here? You know, they both laugh a little. When they were walking, they start talking a little with each other. Don't you think that it is not the appropriate time we are talking with each other and wandering in the streets of London? Folk will talk about us, she said. Oh, Sophie, you don't have to care from them a lot. They are not going to even recognize us in that winter condition. There is a lot of mist in here. I could barely able to find out you. Although it was not very hard generally for me to find you. They again both laughs. They both held the hands of each other and start walking. That woman was not at her boom. She was around 35 years old, but still looking like a 20 years old girl. Then she said, "We are getting old. We are such an old friends," she said. Stephen laughed a little and told her, "No, I'm getting old, but you are just like when you were 20. She again laughed a little. Then there was something disappointing him, and he said like, "Do you still think about those things which we were talking the day before?" "No," she said. "You should not even think about that matter. It is simply going to depress you, nothing more. It's our life. I mean, we have to do the laboring throughout our life. That is how we are going to make both bread. Okay, that seems like fine. But yeah, I'm trying very hard but could not able to forget that thing, he said to her. They again started to walk. Now they start walking a little more slower. Don't you think it is it is not appropriate thing we are talking and walking at such a slow pace, she said, in the night where winter is that harsh? Yeah, seems like, but who cares? No one cares about us. They again start walking with the same pace. So, what's about that day? Like, do you still? He again persistently asking the same question. What the hell matter with you? I, I told you early. Yes, I do not like him anymore. It is the truth. Everything, whatever it was between me and him, it has already ended, she said, in quite a ragey way. She was a little angry on that same persistent question. Then she touched his arms and they start walking again. It was wet everywhere and the mist was surrounding the whole city. And in that whole complete village, the natural resources was just minimal, and the pollution of these factories has just taken the place of the whole natural resources. Pollution was just too much, and no one seems like a man who can live in that area. But still, there were a very large population living in very small cottages in that village and making their living by doing laboring in these factories. So, we will talk again tomorrow. Tomorrow? What's the occasion tomorrow? Nothing. I simply want to see you, Stephen said. Sophie was an intelligent woman, but it was the kind of misfortune that she ended up in that village. She is not from here. Her mother, I think, sent her there for some study purposes, but due to financial distress and the misfortune on her family, bring her there in the factory working area, which was quite a hard for her initially, but right now she is coping up. And that man was quickly indulged in love with that beautiful woman, and he is trying to impress her from a very long time.